Hi there, my name is Jessica and I'm the mental health mom. When is the last time that you were angry? What was the situation? Perhaps you were having an argument with your husband or wife, maybe your mom or your daughter. Perhaps you weren't having an argument with anyone. Maybe you were stuck in a phone queue over something regarding your insurance or your mortgage, and it just kept getting increasingly frustrating the more times you got transferred to someone new, and it just seemed like no one could help you with what your needs were in that particular moment. After it was all said and done, did you walk away feeling that you had handled that situation with control and dignity? Were you satisfied with the way that your needs were met? Were you satisfied with the way that you addressed your needs? Perhaps you did lose your cool. Perhaps you did not remain in that controlled state in which you mostly desired to be. As I said earlier, my name is Jessica, and if this is our first time meeting, then welcome to my channel. I'm a mental health counselor in Florida. I have experience in individual and group counseling. I also have experience teaching at the university level, conducting research, and performing neuropsychological assessments and evaluations. My goal is always to help individuals use the tools they already have in order to become their favorite versions of themselves. And the truth is, sometimes when we get angry, we do not present our favorite versions of ourselves. Sometimes we say things in a way that we wish we had not said them. Sometimes we do things we wish we did not do. I think we've all probably been there at some point or another where we find ourselves apologizing for something we said or did when we were angry. And anger gets a pretty bad rap. I know that a lot of people view it as a negative emotion, although it is absolutely necessary for not only our survival as humans, but also our continued existence as humans. It has played a vital role in helping us to fend off predators. It is anger itself that allows you to fight off someone whenever you are in danger. It gets the adrenaline pumping. All of your blood is sent to your muscles instead of your brain. And that, unfortunately, is the part that makes it so difficult when we are angry yet not in danger. The challenge with anger is that we have the same physical reaction when we are having an argument with our husband that we would have if we were fighting off a predator. Our brain and body really do not know the difference in physical danger and us just being angry with someone. And that's why many arguments escalate into something physical, whether it's someone throwing something or the two people in the argument becoming physical with each other. So today's video is going to serve to help you become more rational when you are feeling angry, to help you jump to that more rational part of your brain so that you can think through your needs and properly address them rather than being so reactive. When we become reactive, that's because we are accessing that very primitive part of our brain that says, hey, we're in danger, it's time to fight back. Your body may not up to this point know the difference, but we are going to teach you to recognize that difference and retrain your brain and body to help you react in a way that is more controlled and help you to ultimately get the results you want from any sort of conflict. I can hear it now. Some of you are probably watching this and saying, you know, I did say a lot of things when I was angry, but whereas I may regret the way that I said them, I meant what I said. In fact, I've been sitting on these emotions and feelings for quite some time, and being angry just kind of put me over that hurdle of silence and gave me the confidence I needed to actually express this. Sure, I regret the way that I said it, but I meant what I said. And that's true in most cases. You know, there typically is a grain of truth to what we say when we're angry. And what this video is going to help you do is outline 4 steps to take when you are feeling triggered, when you are feeling angry, so that you can express what is frustrating you in a way which others will be open to hearing. Convey your emotions without your emotions controlling you. Now I'm going to do a whole separate video on ways in which anger can be helpful for us and why I actually believe that anger is a superpower. But that is its own topic. It's a big topic, and so I'm going to save that for a different day, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But today we are going to discuss the 4 steps that you can take next time you are feeling triggered to get the results you want, to actually express what your needs are in a very clear way and save yourself from having to apologize and saying things that you regret. One very important thing to note is that the steps we will be outlining today require using your prefrontal cortex, which is the rational thinking part of your brain. And so if you are currently using any mind-altering substances such as alcohol or cannabis, it will be more difficult for you to clearly access your prefrontal cortex. Mind-altering substances do inhibit our ability to communicate clearly within our prefrontal cortex. So if you are under the influence of alcohol or any other mind-altering substance, know that employing these steps will be a little more difficult for you. Now, of course, as always, I must give credit where credit is due, and the 4 steps we will be discussing today actually are derived from dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT as many call it, and that was developed by Marsha Linehan to help individuals with borderline personality disorder whenever they were feeling really triggered or feeling distressed. Borderline personality disorder is characterized by dysregulation of emotions. So individuals with borderline personality disorder do tend to feel emotions very strongly, and their emotions tend to control them rather than the other way around. Marsha Linehan developed this, it's called the STOP skill, in order to help individuals with BPD regain control of their emotions and handle distressing moments in a more constructive way. I use this with my clients all the time. I think it is very effective, and I love that it's just 4 simple steps that are easy to remember and easy to incorporate into your life. So the 4 steps follow an acronym called STOP, S-T-O-P, just as simple as it sounds. And ironically enough, the first step in this acronym, or mnemonic, whichever you prefer to say, actually is the word stop. So whether you are in that argument with your spouse or whether you are in that phone queue, stop what you're doing. If you're in the phone queue and you can get off the phone because you're slowly feeling yourself getting more and more worked up, if you can save it for another day when you have emotional resources, I encourage you to do that. If not, maybe just take a couple steps back from the phone, maybe turn it down, turn off that awful elevator music. If you're in an argument with your spouse, actually stop what you're doing, stop the argument, maybe stop talking to that person for a little while. Whatever you do, stop the situation in its tracks. The last thing you want to do is continue a situation that is already getting you more and more frustrated. You want to employ this technique as soon as you feel yourself start to get worked up, as soon as you feel yourself start to get frustrated, because the more frustrated you become, the more difficult it will be to regain control of your emotions. So as soon as you feel yourself getting reactive, stop whatever it is you're doing. Step number 2 is take a step back. After you have felt yourself getting worked up and you've stopped the situation, you've stopped the argument, whatever it may be, actually take a physical step back. Now, some counselors say take a mental step back and view the situation, but I always recommend to get yourself moving physically. Whenever you take a physical step away from the situation, you take a mental step away from the situation just automatically. And also, when we get angry, we release a lot of adrenaline into our system. And so that's why sometimes it feels good to punch walls. That's why sometimes it feels good to be very physically active when we're angry, because we're trying to get all of that adrenaline out of our system. So take a walk even. Take many steps. Or find a very productive exercise to do after you've stopped the situation. Whatever it is that you decide is best for you, take yourself away from the situation. Take that step back. Give yourself time to cool off. Step number 3, observe the situation. Now that you have stopped the situation, Now that you've taken a step back from it, perhaps you're going for a walk and you can feel yourself start to cool down a little bit. You're not as angry as you were before. Observe what happened. What were the factors that led to this particular argument? What were the factors that led to you feeling that you were losing control of yourself? Treat the situation even as if you were an onlooker, as if you were not someone that was actively a part of the situation, but as someone who was observing this particular situation take place. Whenever you observe the situation as an onlooker, you don't have the same emotional attachment to it as someone who is actively involved. Therefore, it is very important, in order to get an objective view of the situation, to sometimes treat it as if we were an onlooker. How would someone else observe this situation if they were simply a stranger walking down the street, observing this happening among two other people? Thinking of the situation in this manner will help you to be more objective and help you to ultimately make a more rational decision on how to do our fourth step, which is to proceed. Now that you have stopped the situation from getting out of control before you started yelling and cursing and throwing things, you've taken a step back from the situation to keep everyone safe and to keep you from saying things that you regret. You've allowed yourself some time to simmer down. You've observed the situation in a very objective way. What do you want to do about the situation now? How do you want to proceed? Maybe you're thinking of ways to prevent this from happening next time. I really like incorporating that as an additional P for the stop skill. Whatever your decision is, you're more than likely in a much different mindset by the time you get to proceed than you were when you were at stop. When we feel the need to employ the stop skill, we are acting from a very emotional and reactive standpoint. And by the time we get to proceed, which is the last step, we are able to access the rational center of our brain and therefore able to conclusively determine how we would like to move on from this particular subject. How can I adequately ensure that my needs are addressed in this particular situation, that I'm not just shoving them to the side, that I'm not just forgetting that this whole situation happened? How can I adequately express my needs in a controlled way so that the other party is open to hearing them? A lot of my clients have enjoyed using the stop technique. They say that it is very beneficial for them. They say that it has saved them from doing things they regret, saying things they regret. One thing that I really encourage a lot of my clients to do is put the stop technique up on your refrigerator or on some other frequently visited area in your house so that you'll see it several times a day. It's very important to practice these steps, memorize these steps before you are actually in a triggering situation, so that when you get into that situation, you won't necessarily have to think actively about what the steps are. You will automatically know what they are and you'll be able to employ them. In addition, it is very important to share these steps with your significant other so that they can be on the same page. And so when you find yourselves getting to that point where both of you are becoming very reactive and emotional, you can hold each other accountable. You can look up at the refrigerator and say, okay, this is when it's time to stop what we're doing, take a step back, observe the situation, and then proceed. So clearly you and I are both very emotional. Now's not the time to talk about this. We need to save this for later. I also want to encourage you, because it's not going to be easy to employ this the first time that you try. You know, it's going to take a lot of discipline. It's going to take a lot of work and restraint to use this the first time. You may be convinced that when you feel yourself getting really emotional and getting really reactive, that reacting will be the most satisfying, and perhaps reacting will give you some immediate relief. But what you are looking for here are long-term results. What you are looking for here is something that is going to minimize the amount of irreparable damage you are doing to yourself and those around you. So it may not be so easy to employ this the first time you feel the need to actually employ it, but it will get easier the more times that you utilize it. And just like anything else, the more practice you get, the more efficient you become, the more effective you become at utilizing these skills. Perhaps at some point in the not too distant future, you'll find yourself using this skill without even thinking about it. And that is the goal. Using the tools you already have in a way that is most helpful for you. Alright, so that is it for today. As always, let me know what you think about the video. Let me know if it was helpful for you. What do you find the most helpful for you when you get angry? Leave it in the comments section. Also, let me know about any other mental health topics you might like for me to cover in the future. I would be happy to do so. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on the little bell so that you can receive notifications. As always, I hope you can use this video as a tool to become your favorite version of yourself. And I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Bye for now.